Hi students, welcome back to ANSHOW's English class. Today I would like to teach you the first lesson of your English reader, A Letter to God. A Letter to God. It is a strange and funny title, right? A Letter to God. Have you written a letter to anybody? I hope you have written many letters to your relatives and friends. At least you might have written leave letters to your class teacher. But did you write a letter to God anytime? The main character or the hero of this story is Lencho. 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 He was a very poor and an innocent farmer. He was living in a house which was situated on the top of a small hill along with his wife and sons. The number of children he had is not mentioned in the story, but we can assume that at least he had four sons. His house was the only one in that location. From his house, anyone could see the entire valley, a beautiful river flowing down, and a vast area of corn cultivation. Students, do you remember the occupation of Lencho? I have already told you that Lencho was a farmer. Actually, he had corn cultivation. Do you know what is corn? Have you visited at any time a cornfield? Now, just see here. Now I am standing in a cornfield. It is ready to be harvested. Now at Lencho's house, his wife was preparing supper. He told her that he was expecting a downpour or a small rain. If they got a good rain at that time, it would be better for a good harvest. Then she replied that if God willing, it would happen and they would get a good rain. When the supper was ready, Lencho's wife called her sons for having food. The elder sons were working in the field. The younger sons were playing near the house. As it is written, the plural forms sons, we can conclude that at least they had two younger sons and two elder sons. While they were having dinner, the sky became cloudy. Suddenly it started raining. Lenjo became so happy and ran out to feel the raindrops on his body. With complete satisfaction and happiness, Lencho exclaimed that those were not raindrops, but those were coins, because the rain would help him to get good harvest, so he could earn good sum of coin or money. Lencho expected it would stop soon, but it continued for an hour. Lencho's happiness soon changed into fear because it began to blow a strong wind and it started hailstones falling down. In 1 hour, it destroyed the complete corn cultivation. It damaged all the leaves and all the fruits. At last, Lencho told his sons very sadly that if there was any locust attack or insect attack to the crops, there would not be much destruction, but the wind and hailstones destroyed his field completely. So they would not be getting any more food for the whole year. Lenjo could not sleep at that night. He was thinking only about his loss. There was no any hope for him, and there was no one to help him. But then he thought about God. God sees everything. He believed that God would never let anyone die of hunger because God provides to everyone and all creatures. He hoped that God would definitely help him because he was working like an ox. He was working very hard. So Lenjo put all his faith and hope on God. Students, do you know what did he do then? He did the strange and funniest thing that he wrote a letter to God. A letter to God. Students, do you remember the name of this story? It was the following Sunday. He wrote a letter to God. And he wrote, Dear God, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes. He asked God to send him 100 pesos. Do you know what is a peso? Peso is the currency of the Latin American countries. In India, in our country, it is rupees. Lencho went to the post office in the town. At post office, he took a stamp and placed it on the envelope. Then he put the letter in the envelope and he wrote the address on the envelope. Dears, do you know what did he write as God's address? He wrote to God, only to God. After writing the address on the envelope, he put the letter in the mailbox. When he went back, the postman took this letter and he was shocked. He took the letter to the postmaster. The postmaster was a fat and a friendly man. When he saw the address to God, he laughed at first. Then he became serious and planned to write the reply to it because he was very much impressed with the faith and confidence of the writer of the letter in God. He opened the letter and he started reading. When he read it, he understood that the writer needed more than a reply. He wanted 100 pesos. However, he planned to send the amount to the poor farmer. But it was not possible for him to take the whole amount by himself. So he asked to his colleagues to help him. They were ready to contribute something to it. At last, they all together collected 70 pesos. They put the money in an envelope and they wrote Lencho's address on it. They also put a letter in the envelope which contained only the signature God. Lencho came to the post office on the following Sunday very earlier than usual because he was expecting the money order from God. That much was his faith in God. The postman gave the letter to Lencho. He was not amazed or shocked because he was waiting for it. That much strong was his faith in God. The postmaster was also observing him, that he wanted to see Lenjo's expression after receiving the money order. Lenjo opened the envelope and he counted the money. Suddenly he became sad and angry. The reason was that there were only 70 pesos in the envelope. He expected 100 pesos from God, and he was sure that God would send him 100 pesos. Students, do you know what was the funny climax of the story? Lenjo misunderstood that the employees of the post office had taken the remaining amount. So he started writing one more letter in the post office itself. Students, do you want to know what did he write in this second letter? He wrote, God, of the 100 pesos I asked for, I only received 70 pesos. So please send me the remaining 30 pesos again. But don't send the remaining amount through the post office because the employees of this post office are very crook. After putting a stamp on it, Lenjo put this letter in the mailbox. When Lenjo went back, the postmaster came and took the letter and opened it and read it out. Dear students, can you assume the reaction of the postman, the postmaster, and the remaining employees of the post office? Dears, I hope that you understood the lesson very well. If you did not subscribe this channel till now, please subscribe it and share to your friends. I will come up with a new topic. Bye.